Good morning, good afternoon, and evening to everyone joining us today from across the world. It's a pleasure to have you be part of this Vynners community. We're recording a section of this event today, so a big welcome to those of you watching this on demand as well. Today's the first Vynners community of 2023 and the eighth installment of our Vynners community series. And we have two wonderful speakers for you today from United Utilities and Wales and West sharing their insights. My name is Shrey, the Senior Digital Marketing and Events Lead for Vyntelligence, and I'm just going to briefly introduce the event. While I do, please take this opportunity to comment your name, where you work, and where in the world you're from at the moment in the chat so that we can all get acquainted. Please also use this chat throughout the event to ask any questions for our speakers or for the Vyn team. Where possible, we'll respond to these directly within the chat, or we'll pick these up in our Q&A session at the end. What do we have in store for you today? Well, first of all, since this is our eighth session, I'm going to give you a brief overview of the Vynners community, how it started, what it means, and why we're all here. Then we'll quickly jump into the exciting bit, the part that you're all here for, which is the Vynning stories from Nicola Fletcher and Claire Edwards. Next, we'll summarize their top tips for you so that you have some tangible steps and insights that you can take back into your work to help implement transformative change and learn to maximize digital self-serve technologies. Then, and this is one of my favorite parts, our customer success manager, Mother, will be announcing our first Star Vynners of 2023. We'll take a few minutes to tell you why they've been chosen as Star Vynners, what Star Vynners are, and then present them with their certificates. So look forward for that. Finally, our AVP for Customer Success, Vynner, whom a lot of you might already know, will help end the session with a Q&A where we can clarify any confusions, add to any excitement, and answer all queries that you might have. Today's session is around rapid change with digital self-serve technologies. The purpose with which we started the Vynners community was to share knowledge and learning with our community. Each customer, prospect, user, influencer, and team member is constantly learning and gaining new insights on how innovation is helping us excel in driving efficiencies within the work that we all do. The Vynners community is the forum where we ask you, members of our community, to come together to learn, share, and succeed. Our purpose from the start has been to help busy professionals simplify their work life through effectively applying innovation and seeing benefits from a visual data-centric approach. And we're so lucky to have seen this firsthand. Our growing community now spans almost 20 countries, which is very exciting. And we've all aligned to our core values here at Vyntelligence, our common purpose to simplify business operations, bring agility and efficiency at work, and embrace safety and sustainability at the core of everything that we do. So today, we'd like to say a big thank you to each one of you that has joined us and others that haven't been able to. We sincerely celebrate the Vynners who have been with us on this journey of innovative and transformative business change to make every day at work safer, simpler, and faster. We've got a great session lined up for you today. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce our first Star Vynner, Nicola. So Nicola has worked at United Utilities for about 11 years now, with 4 years spent in developer services managing new water connections. Previously in United Utilities, she worked in the service recovery, managing water and wastewater complaints. Before pursuing a career at UU, Nicola completed her master's degree in costume design, which I personally find very cool. So her background and interests are naturally very creative, which is why Vyn is something that really caught her. In her spare time, she likes to do yoga, especially after a busy day. And I know a lot of us at Vyn can sympathize with that with our weekly yoga sessions, and also swimming, spas, and cooking, which I feel like all very important to a healthy life. So without further ado, let's get into the conversation, Nicola. Let's start off by just sort of getting an understanding. It's often very easy to be comfortable with the work that we're doing. And we all know that adopting something like a new technology can be quite challenging in a large enterprise such as yours. What convinced you / tipped it for you? What was your initial need for bringing on rapid change?
Yeah, so there's a couple of things really. So we would completely changed our operating model in developer services in the department. Particularly, we increased our water field-based resource. I think we went from about 6 to 26. So we needed a tool to capture and document work on site. We also took on a number of case managers to manage the end-to-end journey. So there was a lot of new conversations that we were having with customers, and we were really trying to improve our customer offering. And what we found is a lot of the office staff had never actually seen what site looks like. So we were having these conversations around installation and construction and never really been able to visualise it. We'd also not long come out of the COVID lockdown, and we had some real struggles during that with where, even though construction was progressing, because it was allowed to carry on, there was some occasions where we couldn't get to site, or customers maybe didn't want us to site. And we didn't have that self-serve tool ready to accept these pictures. So we had, pictures bouncing back from emails. We had customers trying to pull Word documents together, and it was really quite painful. So we knew there was a missing piece there, and we had that option to have that self-serve tool. We also deal with a lot of large developers. So, and again, we've got a really long-winded process at the minute where the sort of sending spreadsheets back and forth, and part of our transformation map and the continual improvements is having that mobile application where we can have them customers who can self-serve. So it was really to help that. And I think one of the things, if I remember rightly, is, when we had the demo, we seen how them worked, is we didn't have anything like this in the business and what we were doing, and it was something completely new. So we really wanted to be that leader in innovation, and that's what really appealed to us as well.
That's fantastic. I think, when you have a certain way of working for quite some time, it's so easy to kind of stay within that, right? And then bringing on something new can be quite challenging. But it sounds like you guys came from a very sort of natural growth into this. Tell us a little bit about how it was trying to bring on sort of a new technology during a period where there was already so much change happening, as you said, right? You were looking at trying to bring efficiencies and, COVID and all that kind of thing, just sort of coming out the back of that. What was it like bringing on something entirely new?
Yeah, it's been tough, but it's also been really rewarding at the same time. So I think it's key is, we all know it's not all rosy sometimes, and change can be tough, and people are naturally and quite understandably resistant to it as well. It was also really bad timing for us as well with Vyn, because we just launched a complete new system within the department. So we'd almost shook up what everyone was doing, and and everyone knows when you bring a complete new system in, it's got its challenges. So that was new for everyone. And then a couple of weeks later, it was like, guess what? We've got something else in the pipeline. So it was really bad challenge, really bad timing at the point. But yeah, it's been rewarding. And I think, what our plan was initially is we were going to start with our field-based staff just using it, and then we've gradually started getting our customers involved now as well.
Amazing. And so it sounds like there's been a journey that you've kind of been on so far. How has that been? As you said, you tried to do it with your field service and then your customers as well. How's that been for the customers? How have they sort of responded and felt about having this new technology to use?
It's good. So it's relatively new for the customers at the minute. But so we started with that they can apply for the water connection via Vyn. So basically, it's the first time they contact us. The first experience is Vyn. So we've had really good feedback from it, actually. Touch wood, everyone's rated it between good and excellent and said they would all use it again. But I think what's really good for the customer is they're showing us from day one what they're doing, and that allows us in the office to identify what they need and get them on the right path quicker. So, and then I think it also becomes really personal to them as well, because it's a very, very different conversation when you know what the customer's doing and you understand the site, and you're giving them that assurance that you understand their job and their development. So I think it's made it a lot more personal, really.
Would you say that it's sort of improved the relationship that you have sometimes with customers, and have you had any good feedback on that?
Yeah, definitely. And the fact that because it can be frustrating from both sides sometimes, where the customer doesn't feel like you're getting what they're saying, and then at the same time, if you have misunderstood over the phone and you've not took them on the right path, then again that can cause impact. So yeah, they're definitely getting, and not just from the customer sending the Vyn application in, from the fact that throughout now, from the inspection and everything that's happening, anyone in the office that's picked the phone up can see what's happening on site and see where that customer's up to. So it stops any sort of delays and misunderstanding and really help with that communication piece.
How has it been for the field teams who are sort of actually reviewing and using Vynner a lot of the times as well, on the flip side?
Yeah, so I would say, so naturally at first I had a bit of resistance, a bit of a mixed bag of reactions. Some completely embraced it straight away, and some openly said, new technology is not for them, and it's not for everyone. You also had the thing of, I've been doing this job for however long, I've never really used this before, so why now? And I think as well, you also have to be careful of, we made it really, really clear, it's not a big brother tool, it's not to catch anyone out, it's to give really them the platform and the opportunity to display the complex work and the challenges that they face on site, because we've never had a tool to allow them to do that. I think quite quickly they've also seen the benefits that we're getting, so everyone can see what's happening on the site. We can, from a 120-second video, that can be shared with a number of people, and it can stop multiple visits, it can stop miscommunication, and it's just brought everything to life really. So and the main feedback I've had now is they find it really easy to use, we've not overcomplicated, and I think that makes a difference. But yeah, so it's honestly, so like I say, at first I did have some resistance, but I'd say 9 out of 10 now are just, they're really embracing it. And what's quite interesting as well is I've had, particularly like say some of them who didn't particularly want to use it first, and now sort of saying, why are other teams not using this? And they might have an issue and they go, well, if they were on Vyn, we wouldn't have this problem because we'd have been able to see the Vyn. And it's really good that they've adapted it, and they're almost saying everyone needs to be on this now. So yeah, that's good.
That's fantastic. I mean, I think that's kind of what, creating good change and sort of transformation within the business is about, right? You always face resistance initially when you're trying to bring about change. That's natural. But to kind of see that you ended up at this point where people who were initially resistant are now advocating and saying, why aren't other people using it? I really like that.
Yeah,
I think that's really good. So with the challenges that you've had with sort of adoption, what were some of the things that you did to make this adoption really successful? To the point that you guys are at now?
I'd say the key thing was engagement. So I'm really working with the team. So I'm fortunate enough to be, so with my role as an area manager, I'm very much in the thick of it. And I actually think that's really helped. So we started initially, which is great. So I started initially with, when we were doing the project, it was quite a general briefing, which we took a handful of people from different roles and so I said, this is Vyn, this is an overview, give it a go, and see what you think. And it was a bit like a tumbleweed moment, like nothing really happened. There was sort of like 12 people from different kind of roles, and I didn't really get much appetite. So, and just to set the scene as well, across the department, I've got about 50 field-based users now on it. We cover a huge area of the northwest of England. We've got from Crewe to Carlisle. I've got some members of staff that have been with us 12 months, some 30 years, ranging from the age of between 20s and 70. So very quickly learned, that this is not a one-size-fits-all approach to delivering it. So I reached out to the individuals and the roles. I met face-to-face. I think most occasions, actually, I physically downloaded the app myself on the phone. I made it really relative to the role. And then most importantly, I think which really helped is the teams built the storyboards. So I made it really, really clear that this was their app. I wanted it to work for them. I wasn't just going to, force something on them. It was for them to help me build it. And then they very much sort of shaped it then, and it was their work. And then kept the momentum going. So there is not a day that goes by that I am not talking about Vyn. So I came a bit of a nag, so I was ringing all the time. If they weren't using it, I was ringing. If they were using it, I was ringing. I was so impressed. And I've been in this department for 4 years, and I've never seen it's really brought everything to life for me, and I found it really, really interesting. So I've kept that momentum going, and I can really relate to a lot of the sites they're dealing with and some of the complex jobs now. I can see them. So I think that constant conversation and momentum going and the engagement has been really good, and celebrating it as well, because again, this was new to them, and they were doing, they're doing a really, really good job, and it's just brought everything to life for them. Just that constant sort of constantly talking about Vyn, but in the good ways, and then at the same time, getting that feedback loop. And I think what's really keen for you guys as well is, it's not often you can have a new system and you can have a new app where you make the changes so quickly for us. And the support we get from Vyn is just huge. And when the team asks me to do something, or can we add this, or can you just create this, it's done so quickly, and that's really quite rare that we get that that change and the speed, and it's so supportive, and I think that does not go unnoticed, and that's really quite impressive that actually they can ask for a change today and it's done tomorrow. So obviously it's a huge thanks to you as well for helping and supporting that.
Of course, that sounds fantastic. I mean, it's it's amazing to have a certain agility when you're doing these things, and I really like the point that you made about empowering the teams to sort of really get them to understand that this is their technology to use for their benefit, and it requires a little bit of nagging, but having that kind of overview, I think, often proves to be quite helpful. How has it been with you having sort of the entire overview of, as an area manager, sort of you viewing all these different kind of Vyns and sort of communicating with the rest of your team?
Great. So again, it's kind of, I've never seen so many sites, but from the office, which is quite nice. But what's all good as well, so with being an area manager, I've got a number of roles. I've got the field-based roles, but I've also got office-based roles, and it's so nice to see how it's helped them as well. And I think everyone on this call can relate to where someone's phoned you and describing something to you, and you just can't quite visualize it. So I can see how much it's helped, my office-based customer case managers and the guys on the phone as well, and I can see how it's really impacted them and helped them with better conversations too. And it's nice to look up and see everyone putting the headsets on, watching Vyns and showing like that real interest to what's happening on site.
It's really good to hear that it becomes sort of almost essentially a part of your culture, right? Part of routine of what everyone is sort of doing and involved in.
Yeah.
It sounds like you've had a very sort of interesting journey up until this point. What are some of your plans for the future?
Oh yeah, there's lots of plans. We'll be busy. So the key sort of next plan now is, from that end to end. So in developer services, from end to end, everything will be on Vyn. So a Vyn for a visit. So the next big game changer for us is getting our contract partners on it. So what we do find is the communication's often broken between us and them, and we are one team, and it can cause quite a lot of frustration if the dig team's not seeing what the inspector's done, or the office hasn't passed on the message. And I think it really help bring everything together, and it's almost like the missing piece of the puzzle. So from a customer applying from day one, it can be done on Vyn, to when we turn up to do their actual work, it's on Vyn as well. So that's the next challenge, getting that happening. We also want a real drive and push now on the self-serve. So tried it with the application form, it's going on really, really well. So we're going to open the options to like self-serve your own pipe inspection. And we have a large group of customers, whether they are large developers or self-lay providers. And again, they want to use it. So they don't want to be doing spreadsheets or anything like that. They're really keen. So we will get them set up so they can start reporting back meter details. So you've got to scan the meter barcode on the app, which is really clever. So it'll stop all the typos or any issues happening. So we'll get them set up on it. And then also we want to start sharing the Vyns with the customers as well. So we've been doing it on for quite a few, where they can say like, this is a copy of the Vyn from site. And again, that's gone down really well. So because all customers always want you to improve on your communication, and if they can't particularly be on site that day, if they get a copy of the Vyn, it's great. They can see what's gone on and where they're up to, and again, it's just really, really improving that communication.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing those stories and your insights. Do you have any top tips that you want to leave our audience with today? Yeah,
so I'd say the first one is keep it simple. So initially we made the forms quite complicated. So I think my dad's laughing because he kept saying to me, take it, strip them down, you're making them too long. And because that's what we've always done, we feel like we have to cover every question, we have to ask everything. And then we quite quickly realised the power of the video. So apologies again to the Vyn team, but I've had to make all the changes again should have listened to them from day one. So we got max value from all the simple storyboards, and we actually got more information from them as well. So definitely keep it simple. I'd say that continuous engagement. So really adopt the technology, stick with it, explore it, keep telling the team to show us. act on the feedback, make it a team change. And I do genuinely feel like it has been a team effort, this. And because quite often, as in businesses, you can get criticised for bringing something in and then just telling them to use it and not quite involving everyone. But this has been their work, and it's been great. They've been really supportive over it, which again is just like another one, probably like empower them, so show it's their thing and be passionate. So again, I love Vyn. Like I really enjoy working with it, and I think if you keep, and the leadership team have also been the same, and I think that can be contagious as well, because we all do really love it and we do believe in it and see the benefits from it. And then probably I think just lastly is persevere. So it is tough when you do land something like this, but I would definitely just say persevere, because it is definitely worth it.
Amazing. Thank you so much. That was really great. And thanks for spending the time to share some of your stories and insights with us.
Thank you very much.
We'll swiftly move on to our second speaker for today, which is Claire. Let me just bring you on. Great. Claire Edwards is Wales and West Utilities Customer Experience Manager, a graduate of Cardiff University. She has over 20 years of experience in increasingly senior customer service roles in the gas industry. Leading the Wales and West Utilities customer service team, she oversees the in-house call center, complaint handling, priority customer team, as well as monitoring and delivering their guaranteed standards of service. She's helped Wales and West Utilities deliver outstanding levels of customer service, which has seen them gain the coveted Service Mark accreditation with distinction from the Institute of Customer Service. This puts the company at par with national household brands like John Lewis, Amazon, not just the utility sector. So Claire, thanks so much for joining us today, and welcome. Let's start off by, through introduction, we were as customer service sort of very core to what it is that you and Wales and West sort of hold close to yourself. Why is customer experience so important for you and the company?
So customer experience is like a top priority for us, and it's led by the very top of our organisation, from our Chief Executive, Graham Edwards. But it's always been important to us, and it gives us a great sense of pride. You mentioned we have the Service Mark accreditation from the Institute of Customer Service, and again, we're just going through that reaccreditation process, and we're on track to regain to get the distinction. We also have the Kite Mark certification for looking after priority and vulnerable customers, and these accreditations just reassure customers that they're sort of dealing with a highly customer-focused organisation, and it also demonstrates to our employees and our stakeholders that our unrelenting sort of commitment to customer excellence. And actually, we've been shortlisted for the Best Use of Technology Award for this Vyntelligence project. So we find out who the winner is at an award ceremony in London on the 7th of March. So we've got all our fingers crossed. But yeah, generally, we're really pleased with the results this has achieved for our customers.
Amazing. Wow, that's fantastic. And congratulations on your nomination as well. I think us and the team are going to be very excited to hear more about that. So given how customer experience is sort of very important to what it is that you do, and when it's something that you focus on quite a lot, it naturally comes with some challenges. What were some of the challenges, if any, that you faced that you wanted to sort of overcome quickly?
Yeah, so we were a little bit different to Nicola and United Utilities in that we weren't having specific challenges, or we didn't come up with like problem statements that we needed to sort of overcome by taking it out to market to find solutions. It wasn't like that for us. It came about as a sort of a regular best practice meeting that I have with one of my sort of counterparts in one of the other gas distribution networks. So he told me about their trial with Vyn, and they used it within their connections process. And in that meeting, he sort of showed me a demo, and I just saw the potential really straight away. It was all quite exciting actually. And then that meeting was sort of like November 2021, and I think we'd signed the contract. Less than 2.5 months later, we saw the benefit straight away. We wanted it in as soon as possible. Obviously, we had to put together a business case, and I based sort of the adoption of about 30%. So, you know, a low sort of adoption rate, which we still get a return on investment for. And then obviously we defined some key success criteria. And then a few other people in our organisation wanted to see it, our chief operating officer, some of the other senior managers, and they all saw opportunities for the technology as well. So yeah, we quickly got the go ahead, and you know, we're well on our way with it.
Amazing. What was some of the sort of key factors within those conversations that you were having that kind of made you realize that this would be something that's quite beneficial? Was it, you know, there's a variety of different bits, but video is something that often, you know, is quite core. How was that something that sort of worked for you and your team?
Yeah, so it was so the videos themselves.
Yeah, so I'm just sort of wondering on how what were some of the things that you saw that sort of really worked, and you went, okay, this will help us and this will work for us.
Yeah, sure. So well, there's obviously the connections one, which you know, my counterpart was using it for anyway. So obviously we do the same work, so we could see how that would translate. So currently we use it for issue reporting, which are like inquiries and complaints. Use it for what we call check for safety work, site surveys, and to make sure sites are ready. So just to give you an idea, so with complaints, so if a customer has got a problem or an issue, they can either call us or use the link on our website to report a problem. We've actually put videos up on our website to explain how to use it. And then through the link, they can show and describe the issue. So then it comes into our customer service team, who assign it to the relevant manager. And our complaint handling process, you know, where there's remedial work to be done, is sort of a two-stage process. So the manager would usually visit to view the issue, and then make a decision on what remedial action was needed, and then send a team. But obviously, having a VIN, you know, allows the manager to, you know, view it from wherever he is on his smartphone, and then he can make a decision on what to do next. So, you know, that really helps with our target D+1. So our complaints, we have a target to resolve over 80% of our complaints within 1 working day after receipt. So obviously having a VIN and cutting out one of the site visits, you know, really helps with that process, and it allows the managers obviously to get on with, you know, sort of, you know, other managerial tasks, if you like. It's a similar thing with our check for safeties. So if a customer rang us and said that they've got a pipe they were concerned about, it looks like it's corroding, we'd usually send an emergency engineer there to check the condition. And now we can just see the VIN, and we know we can send out a repair team to fix it, you know, so that, again, only one visit for the customer, and it speeds up the process. We use it for site surveys, similar to what Nicola described. But this has been ideal for us in connections, because we have, you know, to apply for a new connection or to move a meter, there's, you know, an application form involved. So we require quite a bit of information on an application form. Traditionally, that's, you know, a handwritten application form or an online application form, or even over the phone. But, you know, still capturing quite a lot of details and takes a lot of time to fill in, asking about the surrounding area, the surrounding roads, things like that. But, you know, a 30-second video from a customer will answer all those questions for us, so we can, you know, far more quickly provide a quotation. And just an example of how it's really helped, you know, one of our priority customers, a priority customer was having some sort of renovation work done at his property for wheelchair access, and unfortunately, you know, he was terminally ill, and he wanted the work done really quickly. So usually, a site visit or a surveyor would go out, and it would usually take about 4 days to get that quotation out. But with VIN, his son was there, and we were able to, you know, get a VIN back and quote it and receive the money and give a date for the work to be done, all within half an hour. So that really sort of, you know, sped up the process. And then the final one we use it for is site ready. So a few days before a job is due to be done, so on a new connection, we just need to make sure that the site is safe for our team to work. You know, there's no skips or scaffolding that would, you know, cause danger to our teams. Make sure any trenches are dug. Make sure meter boxes are in the right place, that kind of thing. Because, you know, our team could turn up and it's not safe for them to work, or it's not ready for us to do our work. and then we have aborted visits, and then that has knock-on effects for the customer often on follow-up plans. So by getting a VIN a few days before, we could just make sure that site is ready so they can have the work done on the date that we've agreed to do it. So just all in all, it's just been really successful from a customer perspective, and we've had some great feedback, and particularly higher satisfaction scores from those customers who've actually submitted VINs as part of their customer journey. Well, compared to those who've used sort of more traditional methods, but it is worth saying that not everybody not all customers love technology. Some scared of technology, and so keeping some of those traditional methods is a must. But those who are familiar with technology really do embrace this chance to use this service.
Amazing. That sounds like it's helped a variety of different areas and work streams that you currently already have. So that's really great to see that there's a widespread impact. Do you have any examples of how sort of the adoption journey has been and sort of bringing it on? It would be really great to hear sort of how that has been for you.
Yeah, so like Nicola sort of said, the challenge with implementing any new technology is the adoption by your staff and by customers. So with our staff, personally, I'm not a big fan of scripts. I'm much more of a fan of a personalized service. But we recognise that our customer advisors needed some guidance on how to explain the concept of VIN and the benefits to customers. So we did share some guidelines around this in the early days. And then with the customer team and the connections team, just to sort of build confidence in using VIN, we introduced a 3-month sort of competition to encourage the use of VIN. So like setting achievable targets for just individual and the teams, and then giving regular sort of motivational updates on progress. So we gave prizes for first, second, and third places for the most VINs returns. And like I say, I'm pleased to say that we exceeded those targets, and we achieved what we set out to achieve, which was sort of to grow that confidence, to embed VIN as sort of a business as usual process. And then there's the operational colleagues. So it was to make sure that they didn't lose confidence in the solution, due to technical issues, which we've experienced in the past. So learning from mistakes, we made sure that all managers were phoned, around 100 of them, and they were all properly set up to receive the link so they could, open it and view VINs as they come in. But it wasn't a hard sell for us with our operational teams at all, because at the end of the day, we were saving them time and money. And anything that saves people time and money and gives them time back to do other tasks is always welcome. So we were fortunate in that respect.
Amazing. That sounds really great to see that you've had impact on, again, both the customer side and the operations and field side. Tell us a little bit about what your plans for the future are at this point.
So one other thing, I was just thinking about the operations people. Well, as business as a whole, because one of our key priorities as a business is, greener future. So we also measure, apart from our return on investment, by at which stage we're sort of about almost a 50% return on investment at the moment. But the other key indicator for us, and as well as customer satisfaction, which I've been describing through this, is the green miles we save, obviously, so for not sending the managers out to site, for not sending the emergency engineers out to site. So there's a great saving in our green miles as well.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, sorry for the future. Yeah, so it's around the same sort of arena. So the customer module, which is what I'm concerned with at the moment, there's a couple of extra journeys that we're looking to develop, some isolations, where customers maybe are demolishing properties and they want to remove service pipes, so we can develop a storyboard for that, and maybe some non-standard work as well. But I mentioned some of our senior manager team, looked at VIN, before we had the go-ahead to sign the contract, and they saw areas such as, safety visits, recording evidence for sort of highway authority disputes, site audits, for safety and tidiness, use in training materials, also vehicle inspections, and so around planning for our maintenance work. So there was plenty of opportunities that have been identified.
Amazing. Thanks so much for your insights. Let's finish off with if you have any top tips for our audience.
Yeah, so they'll be related to, some of the things I've said. So, making sure that there's sort of clear success criteria. Like I said, we had customer, we had money saving, and we had the green miles, which are all, key priorities for our business. And also maybe, when you do the business case, base it on a reasonably low take up to start off with. And then, as it builds momentum, then that grows. Communicate benefits to the staff fully in advance, and get engagement and buy-in, because that's always key with the adoption of any new technology. And like I said, making sure everybody is set up to go live on day one, so they don't sort of lose confidence in the technology.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Claire, for your insights. Again, guys, if you have any questions for either Nicola or Claire, please make sure to drop them in the chat and we can answer them. Okay, great. Thank you so much to both of our speakers. You've really shared some insightful perspectives, and I hope that our audience have found it interesting. Now, what we'll do is I'm going to quickly summarize the top tips that we've gone through so far, and then we will go into our star Vynners. So from these, the first ones are from Nicola. The first top tip that was shared was to keep it simple. It's often easy to complicate things, when the road gets rough. We naturally go back to how we've always done things. It's just how it goes. So it's often to get the best benefits, you just need to kind of strip it back and keep it simple. The next one was around continuous engagement. To really adopt the technology, and adoption is a big word, but there's a lot of different things that come along with that. So sitting with it, exploring it, showing it to people, and getting them sort of engaged is I think very important. Empower your teams, show them that this is for them, that they'll get the benefits out of it. And I think hopefully everyone has been able to hear today about how passionate our speakers are about sort of the things that they've been saying. And as we know, passion is often contagious. So to implement new transformative change and help sort of bring the behaviors around in a large organization, I think that's really important. And I really love this one, just to persevere, because once you get through all the challenges and the setup and sort of going through various stages of adoption, to realize that it's finally worth it, I think that's it's a beautiful feeling to have around. So thank you, Nicola, for the top tips. Our audience can feel free to sort of screenshot this if they like, but we will be sending these top tips out to you as well post-event, and they'll be in our post-event blog as well. There we go. These are from Claire. Her top tips were around clear success criteria to define what exactly it is that you need, so you can focus then on making your project successful. Communicate the benefits to your staff well in advance. As we've, has been a common theme, if your teams know that how this will help them, what benefits they're going to get in good time, then it becomes a lot easier for people to succeed. Make sure all the setup is complete before you launch. Having a good plan, I think, is quite important. So outlining your journey so that you can follow it through and reach the points that you need to reach in an efficient way, I think really helps, again, with bringing on things like new technology and creating rapid change, right? Because we all have different things that we are either trying to solve, or when you come across a new technology like Claire and Wales and West did, you want to move quickly to get the benefits that you're hoping to see. So I hope that our audience found these quite helpful. What we'll do now is I'm going to hand over to Mother, who will announce our star Vynners. Mother, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Cool. Can you hear and see me? Perfect. All right. Thanks for that. Thanks, Nicola. Thanks, Shrey. And thanks, Claire. It's always lovely to hear you guys talk about all the work you guys do with Vyn. And it brings a lot of it to life for not just us, but also our customers. And that's the learning community that we are trying to create. So I'll quickly move on to the Star Winners section, right? And let me first start off with explaining what is a Star Winner, right? It's going to be exciting. So Star Winner is a person who is nominated by the Vyn team, and they've been instrumental in leading change and delivering all sorts of business benefits that we heard from our speakers today. Over the years, we've gone on to nominate more than 25 Star Winners across multiple organizations who have come and been a part of the Vynners community event in its different installments. So with that, I would like to introduce our first Star Winner for 2023, maybe with a little bit of drum roll. And that is Victoria Munn from Wales Invest Utilities. Vicky works in Customer Experience Center at Wales Invest Utilities, and she has been at the forefront of leading change with her team. And she was also the winner of the challenge that Claire just spoke about that she conducted in her call center team around getting the most number of wins back and hitting targets and exceeding them. So congratulations, Victoria. And can we all just go off mute and just quickly give her a big round of applause? Vicky, we would love to hear a few words from you, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure, of course. First of all, I'd like to thank my friends and family for this award. No, absolutely, thank you. No, from the minute Claire showed me the app, I was sucked in straight away, and it complements my work every day. It brings me closer with the customers, closer with my operational colleagues. So it's just, I think it's also made my job a bit, I don't know, I guess better. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, it's been a game changer for me, and I've enjoyed it. I like having a challenge with my colleagues to kind of always compete who's got the most Vyns. So we have fun with it. I've had fun with the customers with it. I've often had lots of feet shots, when people film their feet. So I've had to bring them back and say, Mrs. Jones, that was great, but I don't need your feet. I need the pipe, kind of thing. So it's been good banter. But I've delivered very well off the back of it. So it complements my work, the quality of my work. And also, like I said, I think I got more respect from my operational colleagues with it as well. So it's an all-rounder for me. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Vicky. Thanks for that. All right, cool. And congratulations again. Next up, we've got two gentlemen from Northumbria Water, NWL, Mick Avis and Bradley Friedman. They both are part of the Smart Meter program team at NWL, who use Vyn to carry out smart meter surveys. Both Mick and Brad have been instrumental to add experience and pace when we were designing their survey based out of Vyn. This has now enabled better capture, and it has resulted in the more streamlined output. And just a fun fact before I introduce both of them to you, the team set record for creating more than 1,000 Vyns on a single day for a single workflow. So again, to start with, I'm going to recognize Bradley Friedman for all the excellent work they've done. And I'm just going to ask everyone to go off mute and give a big round of applause again to Bradley. Brad, would you like to say a few words? If you're on the call.
I think he might not be on the call at the moment.
That's okay. Cool. We can move on to then Mick then. Again, last but not the least, Mick, thank you for all the work that you've done with the Smart Meter program again. And let's just give him a big round of applause. And we'd love to hear from Mick as well. Mick, are you on the call?
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
That's all right, good. I was having a bit of trouble with my microphone. Yeah, it's been fun. It's definitely improved the way we did boundaries box surveys. We was previously working off of spreadsheets, and using the Vyn app, it's made a big difference to us. It's speeded up what we were doing. We can do a lot more now in a day. It's easy to use and it captures everything that we need to capture.
Perfect. Thanks for that, Mick. So yeah, just before I leave every one of you, a quick note to all our star winners, a small token of appreciation should have been delivered to you by now. If not, then hopefully soon. And just want to say thank you to all our star winners for doing everything they do to make Vyn successful, but also to their teams who've been deeply involved in making Vyn a product it is today, and being change makers and scaling innovation within their teams and their companies. So thank you all.
Amazing. Thanks so much, brother. It's great to hear from some of our star winners as well, to have them here. I think it's fantastic to sort of see the impact that it's delivering to different people, and you know, get those views and insights. Now we've got some questions in the chat that Vynner has been sort of looking at, and this is the time to get them answered. Vynner, would you like to share with us some of the questions?
Yeah, thank you. There are some questions on the chat already, and if there are any more, please feel free to type in or ask the question going off mute. The first one, no particular order, I'm asking one from Lisa Jeffrey, United Utilities, Transformation Program Manager. And the question is for Claire. So the question is, have you integrated Vyn into any of your workflow systems, or is it all standalone? If you have, what improvements have you seen?
No, it's standalone, which is why we were able to get it in so quick. I should imagine if it was integrated, we wouldn't be where we are now. So that's not to say that we wouldn't do that in future, but at the moment it is standalone.
All right, thanks, Claire. The next question is for both. What would you advise other gas or water companies who are here or who are not here otherwise, who would be listening to this, who want to make rapid change using the technology like Vyn? I know you have top tips, but is there any specific for gas or water companies? Any one of you can start.
Claire, you muted.
You are muted.
All right. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Sorry, did you say what would advice we'd give to other gas and water companies?
Yes. What would be your advice to the other gas distribution networks?
I mean, you know, it's been a game changer for us, and that is the terminology we use. There's so much scope for it as well. Customers don't necessarily expect sort of the wow factor from utilities. You know, we're not, our services aren't particularly sexy to customers, but yeah, the feedback that we've had is, wow, we weren't expecting this, and we've not seen this before, and we definitely use it again. So I'd say go for it. Thank
you. Nicola?
Yeah, same. And I think just to agree with what Claire said as well, it's the potential. So, when we first started, we were going to use it for like 6 use cases, and it's just growing arms and legs, and what's surprising is how many other areas of the business it can touch as well, and how they can adopt it. So I definitely encourage it, because the potential is huge. Yeah, from customer to operation. Yeah, definitely recommend it.
So following on that, Nicola, there is a question for you.
Yes.
That you has used it in multiple use cases. Which of those use cases have been the most popular one amongst your team or your customers?
I think from the team, so when we first started, we had like the categories like pipe inspection, for example, or a meter report, but we created quite a generic one because we wanted to adopt that, a Vyn for a visit. So every site visit we did, no matter what happened, we had a Vyn for a visit. So we created a very generic, like a site advice one or a site visit one. And it was really, really user-friendly. There was not many questions. It was mainly focused around the video. And I think that was the most successful one to start with, because that's where people realised that actually, no matter what you're going out for, you can use Vyn. So we kept it generic for a reason. And then actually that's what opened up our eyes of, well, people are using it for this, people are using it for that. And then that's where it sort of kind of grown arms and legs. And the team really, really liked that one as well, because it was so user-friendly and focused very much around the videos. it allowed them to do their job and show what they were doing. So yeah, it was that site visit generic one that's really been successful for us, because that's what's open, like, grew arms and legs.
Yeah, I remember early days. I was part of the team. The generic one was like opened eyes, like get the field information coming in.
Yeah, definitely. So, and that's the top used one. That's what everyone always uses. Yeah. So.
Yeah, and that actually makes users part easy as well. Just show what you see, and that's it. We'll figure out from here.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. The next question first is thanking both you to provide the great insights. The question here is with the big traditional organization utilities, of course, there is always a debate between whether we should build it or buy it, a technology. So the question is, how was your experience internally to convince the leadership or the stakeholders to go ahead with Vyn? What are the key factors considered in that decision making?
So for us, because I've mentioned before some of our business priorities and values, around, providing value for money, driving outstanding service, designing our future. And the sustainable future as well, around the green energy. So it ticked all our boxes as far as our priorities and values are concerned. So, it was a really easy sell, especially, when we looked at different levels of adoption and the return on investment, and the potential on customer satisfaction scores. All in all, it was a bit of a no-brainer, really.
Thank you, Claire.
Yeah, and similar, and what's great is we've got, Lisa's on the call, who manages our transformation program, and again, we pulled all that together around the benefits it would have, and it was fitting really well with all the other improvements that we were making. So again, it just went hand in hand with everything really around the customer improvement, the efficiencies, that overall transformation project that our roadmap that we were on the way with.
Brilliant. Thank you. So there are no more questions on the chat. So people, you can go off mute. And if there are any questions you want to ask directly, or you can type in on the chat if you want me to ask on your behalf.
We don't have any more questions. That's cool. What we'll do is we'll just start to wrapping up. But if anyone, we have a few minutes, so if anyone does have any questions, please do feel free to ask those. What we have for you just before everyone leaves, and as I mentioned before, we'll be sharing the top tips. And also what you see on the screen now is 2 case studies from both the stories that you've heard today from United Utilities and Wales and West, to get a summarized piece of information in one place. So you can use your phone just to scan the QR code to either get the United Utilities or Wales and West case study. We also have a compendium of utilities case studies which walk through a variety of different benefits, use cases, and general thoughts and insights that we've sort of pulled together from a variety of different clients that we've been working with across the utilities industry. As I said, this is a great opportunity to scan the QR code with your phone, but we're also extending this out to you. Finally, I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who has joined us today. Big thank you to our speakers for passionately sharing your views, your insights, and your top tips. Thanks to the Vyn team who helped put this event together. It's our first one of the year. So if there are any people who would like to share some winning stories for the next time, our next event will be in June. So please do get in touch with either one of us at hello@vyntelligence.com or with one of our customer success reps. And I think that's all that we have for today. If there are no more questions, we'd give you back the gift of 5 minutes.
There is one small question that has just popped up.
Fantastic.
Hold on, let me read it from there. Yep, the question is for both. Again, any one of you can pick up. What was your biggest challenge, if any, you have faced during this journey with Vyn?
Do you want to go first, or
oh, no, you go first. Okay.
It's just basically what I said about, getting the team engaged to see the potential as much as I could, particularly my advisor team, which Vicky is part of. So Vicky, straight away, Vicky's been, with the company for many years and understands our processes inside out. So, she was straight on it. The others a little bit more nervous, weren't sure, about how to ask, weren't sure how to, because it's a little bit like, because they certainly don't sell anything on my team. We're just customer service. We don't do any sales. So, asking customers for something new, some of them felt, a bit uncomfortable. So it was, getting the confidence up for those advisors to ask for the customers and explain what the benefits would be for the customers to do it. So again, around those guidelines and some incentives, and like Vic said, it turned out to be a sort of a friendly competition, and I could always hear them bantering behind me about how many they've had back. So that really helped. So that was one of the main challenges, and that's how we best overcame it.
Yeah, and again, just I would say that delivery of getting everyone set up, using it, becoming the new way of working. And like I say, especially when you've been doing the job for so many years, it's a complete change for everyone. And so I think it was really, and I almost wanted it to happen yesterday. As soon as I could see the potentials and what it was going to look like, it was, you almost wanted everything to happen, and all the use cases and everyone set up and running. And it's having that support and working with your team, and really showing them the benefits and getting everyone on board with it as well. But yeah, all worth it.
Brilliant. Thank you. So I don't see any more questions, Shrey.
No, I think that's all that we have for today in this session. Again, just thanks to everyone for coming, and we shall see you next time. There is also, just before we go, when you log off, a little survey that will pop up for you at the end. So if you could answer that to give us some feedback for our next event, so we can keep improving, that would be great. Once again, thank you, everyone, and have a great week ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.